on the name and form of Sri Ramakrishna. Let us pray for the well-being of all people, the good of all people, happiness of all people, selfless, universal prayers. Please repeat. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. May all be happy, may all be peaceful, may all be free from dangers, difficulties. May all see what is good, may all do what is useful to others. May all be enlightened everywhere, may all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May all everywhere be happy and healthy. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma amrutangamaya. Om shanti 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 harihi om. Let us move from the unreal to the real, from ignorance to knowledge. Let us move from false to truth, from darkness to light. May the Lord lead us from death to immortality, from fear to fearlessness, from weakness to strength. Om shanti 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 harihi om. We will chant the Sangast Suktam from the Vedas. Please repeat. Om Sangachadvam Sambadadvam Samvo Manamsi Janatam Deva Bhagayatha Purve Sanjanana upasate Samano mantraha Samitihi Samani Samanam manaha Sahachittamesham Samanam mantram abhimantrayevaha Samanena vo havisha juhomi Samaniva akutihi Samana hridayanivaha Samanamastu vo mano Yatha vassu susahasi. May you move in harmony, speak in one voice, let your minds be in agreement, just as the ancient gods shared their portion of sacrifice. May our purpose be the same, may we all be of one mind. In order for such unity to form, I offer a common prayer. May our intentions and aspirations be alike, so that a common objective unifies us all. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Let us try to understand two more verses of Bhavabhaya Bhanjana Stuti, which we are concluding today, eight shlokas, 8 verses. The last two, 7th and 8th, dealing with another few aspects of Sri Ramakrishna, is easy for us to meditate and understand and recollect the qualities of God. Matigati Vardhana, Kalibala Mardana, Vishaya Viraga Prasari, Jadachita Chetaka, Bhavajala Bhelaka, Jayanara Manasa Chari. Matigati Vardhana, he who accelerates the spiritual direction of the mind. Kalibala Mardana, who destroys the forces of the evil age of Kali. Vishaya Viraga Prasari, who continually spreads the spirit of renunciation of sense attachments. Jada Chita Chetaka, who energizes the spiritually dull mind. Jada Chita. Bhavajala Bhelaka, who drains away the waters of the ocean of worldliness. Jaya Nara Manasa Chari, victory to him who ever moves in the hearts of men. These are another few qualities of Sri Ramakrishna. The purpose of an avatar, purpose of an incarnation is to accelerate. Everything will be going on at very, very slow pace. But once these avatars or the God, Supreme Being, incarnates in human form in a particular place, particular time, what happens is acceleration takes place. Sri Ramakrishna's life itself is an example of acceleration, intensification. Again and again he uses the word Vyakulata, Vyakulata, Vyakulata. Yearning, yearning, yearning. Today what has happened? We have removed the Y and it has become earning, earning, earning. So Vyakulata has gone only in money. Sri Ramakrishna says, once you hold the Lord, everything will come. But that faith we lost. So, Sampada Tava Shripada. When I hold your feet, which is Shripada, Lakshmi herself is sitting there. And this world, just objective world, material world that we are living in, it becomes mud puddle. Goshpada Variya Dai. It becomes so negligent, so ordinary, just like the quantity of water in a cow's footprint. Goshpada. So why don't you hold that one by which everything you will get? Sri Ramakrishna accelerated. He was unhappy if somebody is sitting quiet. So the great senior monks of the Ramakrishna order used to give this inspiration. He is a locomotive. He is a big engine, powerful engine, which can carry millions of souls across the shore of misery. So he says here, Matigati Vardhana, spiritual direction to the mind. And Kalibala Mardana, who destroys the forces of evil, of the evil age of Kali, Kalibala. What is Kalibala? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, etc., which are creating havoc. So that Kali's Bala, he will sit on the head. Mardana. Like Krishna doing Kaliya Mardana, which was vomiting poison, emitting poison into Yamuna. So Sri Krishna did that Nritya and Mardana, that ego or that arrogance of Kaliya, he removed. So by surrendering at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, that Kali's Bala will be destroyed. Next he says, Vishaya Viraga Prasari. What did he do? he continually spreads the spirit of renunciation of sense enjoyments, sense attachments. Vishaya Viraga. Raga is attachment, Viraga is detachment. And derivation will be Vairagyam. Spirituality alone exists. The soul alone exists. God alone lives. Hold on to that. Again and again he asserted Sri Ramakrishna. Spirituality alone lives. God alone lives. Hold on to that. Why are you running behind the mirage? So Sri Ramakrishna was doing this pracharam. Vishaya Viraga Prasari. How much he used to spread the message after that his 12 years of Ghora Tapas. He has come for a purpose. Niranjana, Nararupadhara, Nirguna Gunamai. And continuous traveling, wherever devotees are there, wherever there are bhajans and satsangs, whenever he hears that some great man has come to Kolkata from different places, Sri Ramakrishna is the first man to go there. Talk with him, sing with him, and they become his disciples later, though they were all great in their own way, intellectuals, great scholars, great doctors. But before Sri Ramakrishna, they were all like small kids. Whether it is Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, whether it's Keshav Chandra Sen, whether Girish Chandra Ghosh, whether Vidyasagar, they're all stalwarts of Bengal. And Keshav Chandra Sen himself confessed, before you we are nobody, and used to sit on the ground. Sri Ramakrishna says, if you sit on the ground, tomorrow you will not get any disciples. All will come here only. Keshav Chandra Sen said, I don't care for any disciples. I have come to the ocean. So he went on doing this pracharam. Swami Vivekananda realized this. Though he made Vivekananda the instrument of spreading the message in the whole world, 3 or 4 times before Vivekananda went, he saw Sri Ramakrishna there. So he said, what am I doing? The Lord is doing. He is himself spreading his message. So at the same, Sri Ramakrishna did so much. Karma kator, intense work. Some of you have read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Again and again you find the reference to Balram Bose's house. Balram Mandir, which is one of the centers of Ramakrishna Mission, which is just near 2 roads away from Udbodhan Mother's house. To that house, his beloved disciple, householder disciple, Balram Bose, Sri Ramakrishna visited nearly 100 times, it seems. He says, that is my fort in Kolkata. First he used to go there, take some rest, take some food, talk to the devotees who have assembled, then go to some other house. And come back to Dakshineshwar. That means 100 times one way, 100 times second, returning also. Midnight, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Vishaya Viraga Prasari. Then Jadachita Chetaka, who energizes the spiritually dull mind. Connect it with the first one, who accelerates the spirituality in this age. Matigata Vardhana Jadachita Chetaka. You should read together. The mind alone can hold you back from Vairagya. So Sri Ramakrishna is activating it, energizing it, and filling it with divine ideas. Who is Sri Ramakrishna? He is a big ocean of knowledge, ideas. Full of ideas, powerful ideas. Swami Vivekananda says, one example of my master, one story that he told, I can go on explaining for 3-4 days, he says. One story. There is so much hidden in Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. This is Swamiji's confession. And somebody asked, can you tell what is so great about this story? And they refer to that story in the Gospel of Mahut, elephant, and the Brahmachari. One teacher has told everybody, see God in everything. One guru has instructed, Ishavasya sarvam. Whether animal, whether it's a tree, whether it is God, whether human being, anybody, see God, see God, see God. The next day morning they went to the forest, all the disciples, and they were collecting the firewood. And suddenly from the village side they heard a big warning by a man who was sitting on a mad elephant. And he is telling, he is a mad elephant, this will kill you, this will destroy you, hurt you, move away, move away, move away before it is too late. All the disciples ran away. But one of the disciples who said, why are you running away? It is God, it is coming. The elephant is God. Did not our teacher tell that yesterday everything, see everything as God? Others did not bother about that teaching, they ran away to save themselves. But this fellow standing and said, Ganeshaya Namaha, Ganeshaya Namaha, Ganeshaya Namaha. And that fellow is shouting, move away, it will kill you. The elephant came, caught hold of him by the trunk and threw him away. Threw him and hit on the trees. All the disciples went away to the ashrama. This fellow is missing. Early morning they come again. They find he is in semi-conscious state, badly wounded. And they take him, nurse him, care him, give medicines, give him milk. Says, why you did not run away? Why you did not escape? When others escaped, you all went in a team, is it not? This story told by Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda says, I can explain it for 3 days and 3 nights or more. And that one who was asking his disciple said, Swamiji, what is it in the story? Elephant came, elephant threw, and this fellow was hurt. He is also right, others also are right. What is there is a story. Swamiji started telling about predetermination, started telling about willpower, telling about grace of God. And it seems 3 days and 3 nights he did not stop at all. Went on explaining one story. That is Sri Ram. He says, Swamiji says, that is my master. He condensed into a small story the truths of Veda Vedanta. That is why he filled the mind of the disciples with consciousness. Jada Chita Chetak. Bhava Jala Bhelaka, who drains sway the waters of the ocean of worldliness. Bhava means this world. This world is full of whirlpools. Where you will fall, you don't know. Where you will get stuck up, you don't know. So he says here, who drains sway the waters of the ocean of worldliness. And so to such a great soul, victory to him who ever moves in the hearts of men. Nara Manasa Chari. Refer to what Sri Krishna says in the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Hridyeshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Lord is sitting in the hearts of all people. Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantrarudani Mayaya. We are all just puppets in that hand. Our ego will never work. Even if it works, it is only temporary. For a few minutes. Like a water on the frying pan. So, Sri Ramakrishna moves in the heart, removes that ego. Then he says here, Jaya Purushottama Anupama Sanyama Jaya Jaya Antarayami Karatara Sadhana Nara Dukha Varana Jaya Ramakrishna Namami. What is the meaning? Victory to the Supreme Person, Purushottama. Sahasra Shirisha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Atyatishta Dashangulam Purusha Yevedagam Sarvam. Sahasra Shirisham Devam Vishwaksham Vishwashambhuvam Vishwam Narayanam Devam Aksharam Paramam Padam. So, Sri Ramakrishna is that supreme person, Purushottama. Jaya Purushottama, Anupama, Sanyama, incomparable self-control. Holy Mother mentions this very important point. Somebody said, what did Sri Ramakrishna do? Harmony of religions? No, that was only a byproduct. Sri Ramakrishna will be known for absolute self-control, renunciation. The world will never see such a man. By touch of a coin, his hands used to fold up, used to shrink. So, Sri Ramakrishna is that incomparable self-control. Next, Jaya Jaya Antarayami, victory, victory to the inner ruler of all. One is the Antaryami, one is the Parabrahman, another is the Guru in front of you. The Guru in front of you who has given Mantra Diksha will connect you to the Parabrahman through the Antaryami. So, Sri Ramakrishna is Antarayami. Then, Kharatara Sadhana Naradukha Varana. Victory to Sri Ramakrishna who performed extremely hard spiritual practices. Kharatara Sadhana. Why? Naradukha Varana. For your sake, for our sake. For the welfare of entire humanity, he gave his life, he gave his blood. What sadhanas, read that one chapter, spiritual practices, sadhanas in the great book Ramakrishna and his divine play. How much sadhanas. Whole body was burning, heated up. Even though he was staying at least 2-3 hours in Ganga with a towel on his head, immersing himself in the waters so that his body will be cool. Till Bhairavi Brahmani comes and says, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this bitter experience. Blood used to come from his skin because of that sadhana. So Sri Ramakrishna's Ghora Tapas. He did it for your sake. Holy Mother did it for our sake. Panchatapa. For 1 full week, morning 6 a.m. to evening 6 p.m. The blazing sun above, 4 fireplaces in the 4 corners, sitting at 6 o'clock in the morning along with Yoginma and getting up only at 6 p.m. on the terrace of Nilambar Mukherjee garden house next to Belur Math. Why Mother should do? Jagat Janani, who received everything of Sri Ramakrishna. Think about it. And an entire body used to become black in color. It took many weeks to restore her normal skin color. But Mother said, Ghora Tapas she did. So all these incarnations, all these avatars, silently they went on doing Ghora Tapas. So, Karatara Sadhana Naradukha Varana. We should not become complacent, that is the meaning. We should not go into our own ego and temporary life. Should link our life with that supreme life. Individual ego with that supreme ego. Supreme consciousness. Then our life will be peaceful, joyful, and it will be safe also. Then, Jaya Ramakrishna Namami, whose life and teachings prevent the experience of suffering by man, Naradukha Varana. Every bit of Sri Ramakrishna's life was for others. Naradukha Varana, salute thee, Ramakrishna, we salute thee again and again. So with that, this great writer, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, Devendranath Majumdar has composed this Bhavabhaya Bhanjana, Purusha Niranjana Ratipati Ganjana Kari, Yatijana Ranjana Manomadha Kandana, Jaya Bhava Bandhana Hari, Jaya Ramakrishna Namami. So this should become our daily prayer. Part of the prayer, many shlokas, many things are there. Let us take what is possible, what we remember, and meditate. That becomes a reality. Next important topic which we cover every Sunday is 125 years of the lectures from Colombo to Almora. We are traveling with Swamiji every Sunday, little by little, place after place. Today we move to Tanjavur, Kumbakonam. Real message of Swamiji started there in Tamil Nadu. Very inspiring receptions wherever he went. Now recently, maybe last year, in the Kumbakonam railway station, where Swamiji alighted, there they have put a beautiful plaque. They have installed an image of Swamiji and said, here 125 years ago, this Swami Vivekananda traveling all over the country, he came and spoke to the people of Kumbakonam. So there in the mission of Vedanta, very important lecture, very powerful lecture. It seems 2.5 to 3 hours. Swamiji spoke without a mic, and everybody in the audience were raised to that level of high inspiration. And he clearly demonstrates what is religion, and what is the greatness of Sanatana Dharma, what is the greatness of Hinduism. Category, how much he spent time in clearing the doubts in the minds of the Indian brothers and sisters, whose brains were all smashed, whose intellect was smashed, only clerks, except for those people who went to London and studied in barrister at law and came back to India. All the common people were all snubbed by the British. But he had the great task given by his master to raise that level. Inspiration, patriotism, service of the motherland. But first he has to tell what is the background. What is your ancestor? Who are your ancestors? Why have you forgotten them? Why have you lost faith in them? He says here, ours is away beyond, still beyond. He is comparing the religions of the whole world. Ours is away beyond, still beyond, beyond the senses, beyond space, beyond time, away beyond, till nothing of this world is left, and the universe itself becomes like a drop in the transcendent ocean of the glory of the soul. What faith and convictions he is giving to us, he is injecting into us, he is vaccinating the minds. Remember the situation at the time. 1897, these are the words. It's not yesterday after independence that he is speaking. Very difficult times. All India was in the hands of Queen Victoria, sitting somewhere in London. Here the Governor General can take decisions, or the Viceroy. So much atrocity, so much torture, so much of looting of this great country. This man is giving back the richness. 125 years ago, Kumbakonam lecture. Look at the language, look at his passion, look at his feeling. He says, ours is away beyond, still beyond, beyond the senses, beyond space, beyond time, away beyond, till nothing of this world is left, and the universe itself becomes like a drop in the transcendent ocean of the glory of the soul. That is why after reading all these lectures, Romarola says, music. Vivekananda's words are music. See the laya, see the thala, see the bhava, see the swaram, lyrics. What does he say? Drop in the transcendent ocean of the glory of the soul. Ours is the true religion because it teaches that God alone is true and that this world is false and fleeting. That all your gold is but as dust. That all your power is finite and that life itself is oftentimes an evil. Therefore it is that ours is the true religion. Ours is the true religion because above all it teaches renunciation and stands up with the wisdom of ages to tell and to declare to the nations who are mere children of yesterday in comparison with us Hindus. See, everybody are children. Everybody are children before us. Swamiji calls mustached babies. How dare you teach us? You who are painting them, your bodies blue in color, living in the forest. You dare to teach the sages of India? See the pride he gave. Then he continues here, you see. Who owns the hoary antiquity of the wisdom, discovered by our ancestors here in India, to tell them in plain words, children, you are slaves of the senses. There is only finiteness in the senses. There is only ruination in the senses. The 3 short days of luxury here bring only ruin at last. Give it all up. Renounce the love of the senses and of the world. That is the way of religion. True renunciation is the way to the goal and not through enjoyment. Therefore, ours is the only true religion. Tyage naike amritattvamanashuhu. The Haravidya in the Mahanarayana Upanishad mentions this. Go inside, O man, go inside. Enough of this outwardly business. Bahirmukha, antarmukha. Whole objective world of Greece, Rome, America, Europe is Bahirmukha. Everything external, but of few minutes, few days of enjoyment. And it says here, through renunciation, tyage naike amritattvamanashu. By renunciation alone you can or you will reach God. Amritattvam. Then he says, we have as it were thrown a challenge to the whole world from the most ancient times. In the West, they are trying to solve the problems how much a man can possess. Objective. How much a man can possess. And we are trying here to solve the problem and how little a man can live. This struggle and this difference will still go on for some centuries. But if history has any truth in it, and if prognostications ever prove true, it must be that those who train themselves to live on the least and control themselves well will in the end gain the battle, and that those who run after enjoyment and luxury, however vigorous they may seem for the moment, will have to die and become annihilated. Nothing remains of this objective world. Everything will go one day. In another place he says, Swamiji, because of his travel all through the West, whether it's America, whether it is Europe, whether it is Greece and other parts of the country, Switzerland, he saw it's all water on the frying pan, dead body covered with roses. Dead body covered with roses. They're all struggling. Even now our Swamis say in America, who come here and occasionally when we have discussions, they come with all sorts of negativity, all sorts of suppression, of inner suppressions. When it will burst, they don't know. People are suffering outside. They just show it off by their external glamour. Nobody is happy. Families are destroyed. So Swamiji has travelled and found the spider weaves its cobwebs where the Caesars ruled. The spider weaves its cobwebs where the Caesars ruled. Hail Caesar! The whole earth used to tremble. Hail Hitler! Entire Nazi Germany used to stop. They used to stop breathing, it seems, when Hitler is coming. Where? What happened to them? Everything gone, destroyed, death, annihilated. So, but in spite of the poverty, in spite of this backwardness or so-called this one, India lives. India lives in the villages. India lives in the temples. India lives in a religiosity. But we have to have some training. We have to have some reformations. That is the purpose of this lecture. That's why the title is The Mission of Vedanta. What India wants, what the world wants, what we can do. In this lecture, beautiful, such a beautiful lecture. First claim he says, Swamiji says, is universality, solidarity of the universe. Universality is our Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Message has to go to the whole world. And the second claim of the Vedanta upon the attention of the world is that all the scriptures in the world, it is the one scripture, the teaching of which is in entire harmony with the results that have been attained by the modern scientific investigations of external nature. Two minds in the past. One is the Greek mind, and the second is the Hindu mind. Think about this explanation. One is the Greek mind, another is the Hindu mind. These two are ruling the whole world. And in the Hindu mind, a great book, volumes of books are there called The Story of Civilization. The Story of Civilization. Who wrote it? Will Durant. One entire volumes are there in our library. Go and see. At least go and see. Big book. Nearly 1,000-2,000 pages. Will Durant's Story of Civilization. The first volume he gives to Asia, China, India, and he calls it the Oriental Civilization, first volume. Other volumes are there. The Story of Civilization. In that book, in the introduction he writes, the world has seen or will see only two statesmen. Two statesmen. And that came from India. One is Bhishma Pitamaha in the Mahabharata. The second he says is Bhagavan Sri Krishna giving Gita Upadesha. Both were kings. One is Dwarakadisha, another is the Hastinapura Indraprastha Rakshaka. He did not sit on the throne, but what statesmanship! What governance! Shanti Parva lectures of Bhishma, very famous, given by Ranganathanji here in this hall, in this grounds in 1982. Shanti Parva lectures. We were all students at the time. We used to see all the central ministers coming and sitting at the back and going to listen to Shanti Parva lectures for 2 years. How to govern? Bhishma Pitamaha is telling Yudhishthira, the emperor of India. And before that, Sri Krishna gives. And Will Durant recognizes these two people. The world will never see like that again. The Hindu mind, which gave this deep inner meditation and experience. The Greek mind gave war, gave democracy, gave politics. The Greek mind and the Hindu mind. So, like that he goes on explaining. And he says here, the world is waiting for this grand idea of universal toleration. The other great idea that the world wants from us today, the thinking part of Europe, nay, the whole world, perhaps the lower classes than the higher, more the masses than the cultured, more the ignorant than the educated, more the weak than the strong, is that eternal grand idea of the spiritual oneness of the whole universe. See his plan, see his blueprint. If we construct a house, we need blueprint, we need an architect, we need a designer, we need a mason. Swamiji did everything for us, only follow it. So this lecture, very important lecture, big lecture. So just 1 or 2 points I have referred because time is less and we have to go forward. Please read again. It is there in the net, it is there in the hard copy, in the book, Lectures from Colombo to Almora in any language possible. Very important lecture. From there, other lectures will. He gives more, what you call, that energy and impetus and acceleration for us to go. So, continuing a few more points on how the Ramakrishna mission that you are seeing today, how it evolved, how it got difficulties, how the difficulties were solved by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna and by the hard work of the second generation of monks. One is the 16 disciples of Sri Ramakrishna who are the 16 pillars, Shodashakala Purushaha, and then we have the second generation called Swamiji's disciples. Monastic disciples of Vivekananda, he selected when he was traveling all over the country and who came to him for inspiration, who came to him to surrender. Swamiji's this is a separate book, Monastic Disciples of Vivekananda. Please read 13 stories. And available in Telugu also, Hyderabad publication. So for the benefit of new people, just a quick review what we did last Sunday. Shuddhananda ji, who became the president of the order, Virajananda ji, who also became president of the order, Vimalananda, Swarupananda, Prakashananda, Bodhananda, Atmananda, Sadananda, Kalyanananda, Nischayananda, Achalananda, Shubhananda and Paramananda. They took up the higher responsibilities, got the blessings of Swamiji directly as young boys of 20, 21, 22, and mesmerized and inspired and blessed by Swamiji himself. They were initiated by Swamiji and sannyasa given by Swamiji. Each one is another powerful pillars, powerful what you call planets. So, Shuddhanandaji, the love of the Upanishads instilled in him, entered his blood and remained with him for the rest of his life. Swami Vivekananda was greatly concerned about the spiritual progress of his all-renouncing disciples, and he saw to it that their minds and bodies remained absolutely pure and fit for realizing spiritual truths. Then, after Swami Shuddhanandaji, it was Swami Virajanandaji, who was also one of the presidents of the order, who lived up to 1951. And he says, Swamiji simply woke me up. I was in deep meditation. He said, go to Dhaka and preach. Tell the people about what we are saying. Then Virajanji said, what do I know? I am only still a young monk. How Swamiji inspired them. Swami said, all right, stand up and say there that I do not know anything. Stand up and say that I do not know anything. The feeling that I know everything comes from ignorance. So you don't know anything. So you are free from ignorance. People will listen to you. Yes, Vivekananda continued, look here. If you seek your own salvation, you will surely go to hell. But if you work for the salvation of others, you will become liberated this moment. This is Swamiji's new Karma Yoga mantra. When you think only of yourself, hell no. But when you think of service to others, you will become liberated. He gave a challenge to the traditional Vedanta, traditional Moksha Marga. That is why Swamiji gave us the mantra. The disciple lived to fulfill this statement of Swamiji, Atmano Mokshartham Jagathitaya cha. He was the first monastic disciple to join Baranagar monastery, a young boy of 14, 15 years. Initiated by Holy Mother, but trained and given monastic life, sannyasa by Swamiji. So we consider him both in the Holy Mother's line and Swamiji's line. Initiated by Holy Mother, sannyasa and training by Swamiji, Virajanandaji devoted himself heart and soul to Swamiji's service. He worked for Prabhuddha Bharata journal, started by Swamiji, published by Mayavati Advaita Ashrama. And the complete work that you see of Swami Vivekananda is because of Virajanandaji's work. He put everything into topics, into volumes and published it. That's how you are able to get all Swamiji's teachings in a systematic book form called the Complete Works of Vivekananda. That time it was 4 volumes, now it is 9 volumes. And the detailed biography, 2 volumes in English, by his eastern and western disciples. The main editor and main brainchild was Swami Virajanandaji in Almora, in Mayavati. See, that much of contribution we are only enjoying today. Sometimes we don't read also. We are happy with only Avaka in Bhojanam. We don't want that higher. That's why we insist. Read the detailed life of Swamiji, you will get a much better picture. So, that was a monumental work, and in 1936 he became the General Secretary of the order, and 2 years later the President of the order. Soberness, manliness, calmness and modesty were his characteristics. He travelled throughout the country to spread the message of Sri Ramakrishna and Swamiji. And Virajanandaji's blessings as there in Visakhapatnam Ramakrishna Mission Center. Every day he used to go to the beach and meditate and says, this is a very beautiful place for meditation. Old photos are there where in the old temple used to sit outside with those disciples and brahmacharis and meditate on the Omkara facing the ocean. He came up to this whole South India he travelled. Then next we find Swami Vimalananda, another Swamiji disciple who lived up to 1908. He was a leader of a group of young men who, after the direct disciples, were the first to respond to Swamiji's call to dedicate themselves to a life of renunciation. Vimalanandaji's life occupies a distinguished place in the history of the order. He was attracted by Swamiji's divine countenance, extraordinary humility, and singular devotion to his Guru. And Vimalanji's English was so perfect, so precise, so beautiful. Swamiji said, go to Mayavati for publishing the books, editing the books. So we were all silent workers, desert flowers we call them. They just come silent. Who knows about Vimalanji? Who knows about Virajanandaji or the great work? But Ramakrishna Mission continues to work because of their blessings and sacrifice. So, he wrote, this is the very core of Swamiji's teachings. Vimalanji is telling us, what did Swamiji teach? Swamiji taught the selfhood of all, the divinity of man. And this is, I am fully convinced, the key to his wonderfully versatile nature. He was a lover of all because he was a gnani. And here I must tell you that the fatal illusion under which I had long labored, that gnana and bhakti are destructive of each other, disperse in the presence of Swamiji as darkness before the sun. Always in Bhagavad Gita also there is a conflict. Should I take the path of bhakti? Should I take the path of gnana? Then Krishna says only fools will talk that there is difference. Others will say the wise people will understand both lead to the same goal. So that is Swamiji's message. The tremendous energy that shook the world and is still at work, awakening many a slumbering soul to its innate divinity, instilling life into dead bones, bringing sunshine in the darkness of despair and love in dry arid souls. This tremendous energy owes its origin to his realization of Brahman in all. The Shishya is telling about Swamiji and his work. Here too I must tell you that the fatally erroneous idea that karma is antagonistic to gnana and bhakti is dispelled at once by the life of Swamiji. Then we have other few disciples, which I am not going into detail, that I will leave it to you to have interest and read that book, Monastic Disciples of Swami Vivekananda, because they lived later part, up to 1950. One of the disciples lived up to 1950 in America. So, for example, another great Swami Swarupanandaji, his Bhagavad Gita, we consider it as an introduction to understand Swarupanji's precise meaning, word-to-word meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. Translation, word-to-word meaning, very perfect. So it is recommended for new students of Bhagavad Gita, Swarupananda's Gita. And what did Swarupananda? He lived up to a very short life, 1906 only. In knowledge as well as in work, in spiritual wisdom as in austerity, Swami Swarupanandaji truly proved himself to be an asset to the Ramakrishna order. At a young age itself, because of his English, British English at that time, good schools and good professors were there, they mastered English language, and Swamiji understood this fellow will be useful for Prabuddha Bharata, and he sent him to Mayavati, and he became the president of Mayavati Advaita Ashrama. In 1900, Vivekananda was pleased with his conducting of the paper. He is doing splendid work. But he saw the poverty, the sickness, the ignorance, the illiteracy in the hill areas. So in Mayavati itself, he started schools, a charitable dispensary which is going on even now. He traveled to Nainital, Almora, other distant places to spread both secular and spiritual knowledge among the local people, working among the youths in hill areas on renunciation and service. And Swarupanandaji was appointed as a Bengali teacher to Sister Nivedita by Swamiji himself. Because this lady, unless she speaks Bengali, the old ladies and widows in Kolkata will not accept her. So he became a Bengali teacher to Sister Nivedita and followed Swamiji. Swamiji says, will you come with me? Within 1 hour he came, putting all the vibhuti bhasma on his body and removed all his coat and put it inside. Whether he wrote a letter or resigned, we don't know. Their mother, I am their father, I am their guru, I have to take care of them. Swami Sadananda, Swami Atmananda, and we have Kalyanananda, Nischayananda, powerful disciples. Till 1940s, 1950s, they carried on. So like that, Ramakrishna Mission is working, continuing. And then the second, their disciples, Holy Mother's disciples, they all took over. Please read those books and get more knowledge. We'll continue with Colombo to Almora. From next Sunday, we are going into a new topic. We shall discuss this story of Ramakrishna Mission. I'll conclude partially. Whenever necessary, we'll speak. We'll take up a scripture. I've decided by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna to take classes on Shankara's Bhajagovinda Stotram. That will be from next Sunday, 26th. Okay, all of you are welcome. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Loka Samasta Sukhino.
Khandana bhava bandhana jagavandana vandita ma Niranjana નરરૂપ ધર નિર્ગુણ ગુણ કર્મા કઠોર પ્રાણાર્પણ જગત તારણ પ્રાણાર્પણ જગત તારણ કૃંતારા કલેડો વાંચના કાંચના અતિનિંદિતા ઇન્દ્રિય ત્યાગીશ્વરા હે નારવર ત્યાગીશ્વરા હે નારવર દેહાપદે નિર્ભય ગત સંશય દૃઢા નિશ્ચય માનસા વા નિષ્કારણ ભગત શરણ નિષ્કારણ ભગત શરણ ત્યાજે જાતે ખુલા સંપદ તવ શ્રીપદ ભવદોષપદ વારિય થા પ્રેમાર્પણ સમાદર્શન પ્રેમાર્પણ જગજના દુઃખ જા दर्शन प्रेमार्पण समदर्शन जरा जरा दुःख जान नमो नमो प्रभु वाक्यमनातीत नमो नमो प्रभु वाक्यमनातीत मनोवचनैकाधार प्रभु मनोवचनैकाधार ज्योतिर्ज्योति उज्ज्वल हृदय कंदर ज्योतिर्ज्योति उज्ज्वल हृदय कंदर तुमि तम भंजनः प्रभु तुमि तम भंजनः नमो नमो प्रभु वाक्यमनातीत नमो नमो प्रभु वाक्यमनातीत मनोवचनैकाधार प्रभु मनोवचनैकाधार ज्योतिर्ज्योति उज्ज्वल हृदय कंदर ज्योतिर्ज्योति उज्ज्वल हृदय तुमि तम भंजनः प्रभु तुमि तम भंजनः दे दे लंग रंग भंग भाजे अंग संग मृदंग दे दे लंग रंग भंग भाजे अंग संग मृदंग गाय चे चंद भक्त वृंद आरती तोमार गाय चे चंद भक्त वृंद आरती तोमार जय जय आरती तोमार हर हर आरती तोमार शिव शिव आरती तोमार जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी के जय। ॐ ह्रीं ऋतं त्वमचलो गुणजेद्गुणेड्यः नक्तं दिवं सकरुणं तव पादपद्मं मोहं कर्षं बहुकृतं न भजेतोऽहं तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो भक्तिर्भगश्च भजनं भवभेदकारी गच्छन्त्यलं सुविपुलं गमनाय तत्त्वं वक्त्रोद्धृतोऽपि हृदये न च भाति किञ्चित् तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्धो तेजस्तरन्ते तरसा त्वयि तृप्ता तृष्णा रागे कृते ऋतपथे त्वयि राम कृष्णे मर्त्यामृतं तव पदं मरणोर्मि नाशं तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्ध कृत्यं करोति कलुषं कुहकान्तकारे शान्तं शिवं सुविमलं तव नाम नाथ यस्मादहं त्वशरणो जगदेकगम्या तस्मात् त्वमेव शरणं मम दीनबन्ध ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्म स्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमः श्री भगवते रामकृष्णाय नमो नमः। सर्वमङ्गल माङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणे नमोस्तुते। सृष्टि स्थितिविनाशानां शक्ति भूते सनातनी गुणाश्रये गुणामये नारायणे नमोस्तुते। शरणागता परित्राण परायणे सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवी नारायणे नमोस्तुते। जय नारायणी नमोस्तुते। जय नारायणी नमोस्तुते। जय नारायणी नमोस्तुते। जय नारायणी नमोस्तुते। प्रकृतिं परमामभयां वरदां नररूपधरां जनतापहरां शरणागतसेवकतोषकरे प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां गुणहीनसुतान् अपराधयुतान् कृपयाद्य समुद्धर मोहगतान् तरणीं भवसागरपारकरीं प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां विषयं कुसुमं परिहृत्य सदा चरणाम्बुरुहामृतशान्तिसुधां पिबभृङ्गमनोभवरोगहरा प्रणमामि परां जननीं जगतां कृपां कुरु महादेवी सुतेषु प्रणतेषु च चरणाश्रयदानेन कृपामयि नमोऽस्तुते। लज्जापटावृते नित्यं शारदे ज्ञानदायिके पापेभ्यो नः सदा रक्ष कृपामयि नमोऽस्तुते। रामकृष्णगतप्राणां तन्नाम श्रवणप्रिया तद्भावरञ्जिताकारां प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। पवित्रं चरितं यस्याः पवित्रं जीवनं तथा पवित्रता स्वरूपिण्यै तस्यै कुर्मो नमो नमः। देवीं प्रसन्नां प्रणतातिहन्त्रीं योगेन्द्रपूज्यां युगधर्मपात्रीं तां शारदां भक्तिविज्ञानदात्रीं दया स्वरूपां प्रणमामि नित्यं स्नेहेन बध्नासि मानोऽस्मदीयं दोषान् शेषान् सगुणे करोषे आहेतुनानोदयसे सदोषान् स्वाङ्के गृहीत्वा यदिदं विचित्रं प्रसीद मातर्विनयेन याचे नित्यं भव स्नेहवते सुतेषु प्रेमैकबिन्दुं चिरदग्धचित्ते विषिञ्च चित्तं कुरु ना सुशान्तं जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः.
పేజ్ 11. पाहि पाहि गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पार्वती पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना मूषिकावाहन गजानना मूषिकावाहन मोदकहस्ता गजानना मूषिकावाहन मोदकहस्ता गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना चामरकर्णा गजानना चामरकर्णा गजानना विलम्बितसूत्रा गजानना चामरकर्णा गजानना विलम्बितसूत्रा गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना वामन रूपा गजानना वामन रूपा गजानना महेश्वर पुत्रा गजानना वामन रूपा गजानना महेश्वर पुत्रा गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना विघ्न विनायक गजानना पाद नमस्ते गजानना विघ्न विनायक गजानना पाद नमस्ते गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पार्वती नंदन गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदन 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 गजानना 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 गजानना
పేజ్ 37 37
नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नागेन्द्रहाराय महेश्वराय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्माङ्गरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय मन्दाकिनी सलिलचन्दनचर्चिताय नन्दीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय मन्दाकिनी सलिलचन्दनचर्चिताय नन्दीश्वर प्रमथनाथ मंदार पुष्प बहुपुष्प सुपूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय मंदार पूजिताय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्जबाला सूर्याय दक्षाध्वर नाशकाय शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्जबाला सूर्याय दक्षाध्वर नाशकाय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय वसिष्ठकुम्भोद्भवगौतमाय मुनीन्द्रदेवार्चितशेखराय वसिष्ठकुम्भोद्भवगौतमाय चन्द्रार्कवैश्वानरलोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय चन्द्रार्कवैश्वानरलोचनाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय यज्ञस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय यज्ञस्वरूपाय जटाधराय पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय दिव्य दिव्याय देवाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय दिव्याय देवाय दिगम्बराय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै यकाराय शिवाय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै शिकाराय तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय हर हर बोले 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 नमः शिवाय
नामावली हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव शिव शंकर आदिदेव शिव शंकर आदिदेव
शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 परमेश्वर अखिलेश्वर परमेश्वर परमेश्वर अखिलेश्वर परमेश्वर परमेश्वर अखिलेश्वर परमेश्वर अखिलेश्वर परमेश्वर अखिलेश्वर तांडव प्रिय शशि शेखर तांडव प्रिय शशि शेखर तांडव प्रिय शशि शेखर तांडव प्रिय शशि शेखर हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव विश्वधार विश्वनाथ विश्वधार विश्वनाथ विश्वधार विश्वनाथ विश्वधार विश्वनाथ विश्वधार विश्वनाथ गंगाधर दीननाथ गंगाधर दीननाथ गंगाधर दीननाथ गंगाधर दीननाथ हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव गौरीपति नंदीश्वर गौरीपति नंदीश्वर गौरीपति नंदीश्वर गौरीपति गौरीपति नंदीश्वर गौरीपति गौरीपति नंदीश्वर शैलेश्वर जगदीश्वर शैलेश्वर जगदीश्वर शैलेश्वर जगदीश्वर शैलेश्वर जगदीश्वर हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव शिव शंकर
शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव हर 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 महादेव 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 शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव शिव शङ्कर आदिदेव हर 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 महादेव हर हर महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव हर 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 महादेव
ఇరవై 24-4 చంద్రశేఖర 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 పాహి మాం చంద్రశేఖర 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 రక్ష మాం చంద్రశేఖర 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 రక్ష మాం రత్నసానుశరాసనం రజతాద్రిశంఖనికేతనం షింజినీ కృతపన్నగేశ్వర మచ్యుతానన సాయకం క్షేప్రదగ్ధపురత్రయం త్రిదశాలయైరభినందితం చంద్రశేఖరమాశ్రయేమ కిం కరిష్యతి వై యమః చంద్రశేఖర 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 పాహి మాం చంద్రశేఖర 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 రక్ష మాం భేషజం భవ రోగిణామఖిల పదామపహారిణం दक्षयज्ञविनाशनं त्रिगुणात्मकं त्रिविलोचनं भक्तिमोक्तिफलप्रदं सकलाघसङ्घनि चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मां किं करिष्यति वै यमः चन्द्रशेखर चन्द्रशेखर भक्तवत्सलमर्चितं निधिमक्षयं हरिदम्बरं सर्वभूतपतिं परात् परमप्रमेयमनोत्तमं सोमवारण भूहुताशन् सोमपानिकाकृतिम् चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मां किं करिष्यति वै यमः चन्द्रशेखर चन्द्रशेखर विश्वसृष्टिविधायिनं पुनरेव पालन तत्परं संहरन्तमपि प्रपञ्चमशेषलोकनिवासिनं क्रीडयन्तमहर्निशं गणनाथयुतसमन्वितं चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यमः चन्द्रशेखर 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 पाहि मां चन्द्रशेखर 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 रक्ष मां चन्द्रशेखर चन्द्रशेखर पाहि मां चन्द्रशेखर 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 रक्ष मां चन्द्रशेखर पाहि मां चन्द्रशेखर रक्ष माम्। ముప్పై ఐదు 35 जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारे जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारे जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारे जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारे कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारे जय परमेश्वर कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय तरुतर
आलय वसन दिशाचय
भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारी जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी पर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर हर
करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
हर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर हर
करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
मदन मनोहर शिव शुभकारी मदन मनोहर शिव शुभकारी हर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर हर
करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
मदन मनोहर शिव शुभकारी मदन मनोहर
शिव शुभकारी
जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारी
जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारी
कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु
योगाचारी
तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय तरुतर
आलय वसन दिशाचय
तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय
तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय
भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी
भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी
तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय
तरुतर आलय वसन दिशाचय
भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी
भीतनिराश्रय भव भयहारी
जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारी
जय परमेश्वर परमभिकारी
कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी
कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी
हर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
हर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
हर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
हर करुणाकर वरदा भयकर
मदन मनोहर शिव शुभकारी
मदन मनोहर शिव शुभकारी
मदन मनोहर शिव शुभकारी जय परमेश्वर परमकारी जय परमेश्वर
परमभिखारी
कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी कल्पमेरु गुरु योगाचारी 333 333. ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ಯೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯವಂತ ರಾಗಿ ನೀವು ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ಯೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯವಂತರಾಗಿ ನೀವು ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ. ಅನ್ನದಾನವ ಮಾಡುವರಾಗಿ ಅನ್ನ ಛತ್ರವ ಇಟ್ಟವರಾಗಿ, ಅನ್ನದಾನವ ಮಾಡುವರಾಗಿ ಅನ್ನ ಛತ್ರವ ಇಟ್ಟವರಾಗಿ, ಅನ್ಯವಾರ್ತೆಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟವರಾಗಿ ಅನುದಿನ ಭಜನೆಯ ಮಾಡುವರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ. ಮಾತಾಪಿತರನ್ನು ಸೇವಿಪರಾಗಿ ಪಾಪ ಕಾರ್ಯವ ಇಟ್ಟವರಾಗಿ, ಮಾತಾಪಿತರ ಸೇವಿಪರಾಗಿ ಪಾಪ ಕಾರ್ಯವ ಇಟ್ಟವರಾಗಿ, ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಬಾಳನು ಬಾಳುವರಾಗಿ ನೀತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಖ್ಯಾತರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ. ಗುರುಕಾರುಣ್ಯವ ಪಡೆದವರಾಗಿ ಗುರುವಾಕ್ಯವನ್ನು ಪಾಲಿಪರಾಗಿ, ಗುರುಕಾರುಣ್ಯವ ಪಡೆದವರಾಗಿ ಗುರುವಾಕ್ಯವನ್ನು ಪಾಲಿಪರಾಗಿ, ಗುರುವಿನ ಪಾದವ ಸ್ಮರಿಸುವರಾಗಿ ಪರಮ ಪುಣ್ಯವ ಮಾಡುವರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ. ಕಾಮಕ್ರೋಧವ ಅಳಿದವರಾಗಿ ನೇಮನಿಷ್ಠೆಗಳ ಮಾಡುವರಾಗಿ, ಕಾಮಕ್ರೋಧವ ಅಳಿದವರಾಗಿ ನೇಮನಿಷ್ಠೆಗಳ ಮಾಡುವರಾಗಿ, ರಾಮನಾಮವ ಜಪಿಸುವರಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೇಮದಿ ಕುಣಿ ಕುಣಿದಾಡುವರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ. ಹರಿಯನು ಅನುದಿನ ನೆನೆಯುವರಾಗಿ ಗುರುತಿಗೆ ಬಾಹುರಂತವರಾಗಿ, ಹರಿಯನು ಅನುದಿನ ನೆನೆಯುವರಾಗಿ ಗುರುತಿಗೆ ಬಾಹುರಂತವರಾಗಿ, ಕರೆ ಕರೆ ಭವವನ್ನು ನೀಗುವರಾಗಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಸೇವಿಪರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ಯೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯವಂತರಾಗಿ ನೀವು ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ಯೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭೋಗ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭಾಗ್ಯವಂತರಾಗಿ ನೀವು ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ಭಿಕ್ಷಕೆ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ ರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ, ರಾಗಿ ರಾಗಿ ತಂದಿರ್ಯಾ.
Coming Tuesday, 21st February, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's Jayanti will be celebrated in our premises in a grand manner. Full details of the program are available on the flex notice board in front of the temple. Invitation form prints are available at Mutt office and book-stalls. Devotees can distribute them among your friends and relatives and participate in large numbers and obtain the grace of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. భగవాన్ శ్రీరామకృష్ణుల జన్మతిథి వేడుకలు వచ్చే మంగళవారం ఫిబ్రవరి 21వ తేదీ మఠంలో వైభవంగా నిర్వహించబడతాయి. ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి సంబంధించిన పూర్తి వివరాలు దేవాలయం ముందు ఉన్న ఫ్లెక్స్ నోటీస్ బోర్డుపై పొందుపరచబడ్డాయి. ఆహ్వాన కరపత్రాలు మఠం బుక్ స్టాల్లో లభ్యమవుతాయి. భక్తులు వీటిని మీ బంధుమిత్రాలకు పంచిపెట్టి ఎక్కువ సంఖ్యలో ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో పాల్గొని భగవాన్ శ్రీరామకృష్ణ కృపకు పాత్రలు కావాల్సిందిగా విజ్ఞప్తి.
రామకృష్ణుల జయంతి 21వ తారీఖు అనౌన్స్ చేసినట్లుగా చాలా ముఖ్యమైన పవిత్రమైన అద్భుతమైన పుణ్యదినం. ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్ళేవాళ్ళు అట్లీస్ట్ సగం రోజైనా మధ్యాహ్నం వరకు లీవ్ తీసుకొని రండి. ఆఫీసు బాగానే ఉంటుంది, మీరు బాగుంటారు. ఉదయం పూట రాని భక్తులు, రావడానికి కష్టం ఉన్న భక్తులు సాయంత్రం రావచ్చు 4 గంటలకి 4:30కి. అంటే ఇంకొక హాఫ్ డే ఇటువైపు అటువైపు టైం చేసుకోండి. టైం లేదు అనకండి. దేవుడి దగ్గరికి వచ్చేటప్పుడు గడియారాలు పక్కన పెట్టండి. ఏదో సమయంలో రావాలి. ఎక్కువ సమయం జపధ్యానాలకి వినియోగించుకోవాలి. అద్భుతమైన వాతావరణం, యావత్ ప్రపంచమంతా రామకృష్ణుల నామం చెప్తుంది. ఎక్కువ అడ్వర్టైజ్మెంట్ మేము చేయము, అయినప్పటికీను సరళంగా అతి సూక్ష్మంగా రామకృష్ణుల సందేశం, రామకృష్ణ నామం ఇంటింటికి వెళుతుంది. అయితే మన సంతోషం కోసరం, మన సాధన కోసరం, మన ఆనందం కోసరం రామకృష్ణ నామం, రామకృష్ణ జపం, రామకృష్ణ ప్రచారం చేయ బాధ్యత మనది. ఆయన చెప్పినట్లుగా వివేకానంద ద్వారా మనం అందరం చేస్తున్నాం. సాయంత్రం ఆ రోజు 6:45కి 6:45 సంధ్యారతి సమయం, రామకృష్ణుల మహామంగళారతి సంధ్యా సమయం. పంచభూతాల్ని రామకృష్ణుగా అర్పిస్తాం. అగ్నితత్వం, జలతత్వం, వాయుతత్వం, భూతత్వం, ఆకాశతత్వం. సో ఇక్కడ రెగ్యులర్గా వచ్చే భక్తులు, మంత్రదీక్ష పొందిన భక్తులు, రామకృష్ణుని ఇష్టదేవంగా స్వీకరించిన భక్తులు ఇత్యాదులు ఎవరైనా సరే రామకృష్ణ ఆరతి పాట ప్రతిరోజు పాడతాం కదా, ఖండన భవబంధన. అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక 1000 మంది సాయంత్రం రండి, ఇక్కడ కూర్చొని పాడండి. తాళబద్ధంగా భావంతో ప్రేమతో రామకృష్ణగా అర్పిద్దాం. ఏదో సంవత్సరానికి ఒకసారి మన ఇంటి పండగ, మన ప్రపంచానికే మంచి మంగళకరమైన దినం. సో పార్టిసిపేట్ ఇన్ లార్జ్ నంబర్స్, అట్లీస్ట్ మార్నింగ్ ఆర్ ఈవినింగ్ ఆల్సో కంపల్సరీ, because it's a Sandhya Samayam, 6:45. Your family members, if they know the Arati song, ఎవరెవరు ప్రాక్టీస్కి రాలేకపోయారో కొన్ని కారణాల వల్ల ఆడియో ఉంది, వీడియో ఉంది, యూట్యూబ్లో అన్ని సెంటర్స్, బేలూరు మఠం ఉంది, హైదరాబాద్ ఉంది. హైదరాబాద్ ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాం కాబట్టి దాని స్పీడు దాని ఇది తెలియడానికి మీకు అనుకూలమవుతుంది. ప్లీజ్ లిసన్ టు నైట్ విత్ ద బుక్, ప్లీజ్ లిసన్ టుమారో, ప్రాక్టీస్ ఇట్ అండ్ 2-3 times అది బాగా నేర్చుకుంటే సామూహికంగా అందరూ పాడొచ్చు అని మా కోరిక. రామకృష్ణుల రామకృష్ణ పూజ ఇది, వాక్ పూజ. ఈ వైదిక ప్రకారం పూజ, షోడశోపచార పూజ చేసేది ఇంటర్నల్ పూజ అది. బట్ మన సాధనకి, మన మంచి కోసరం ఈ రామకృష్ణుల ఆరతి పాడడం, ఇతర స్తోత్రాలు పాడడం ఆ రోజు. సో పురుషులు ఎవరెవరు పాల్గొంటారో పేర్లు ఇవ్వండి, స్త్రీలు కూడా, స్త్రీ భక్తులు కూడా పేర్లు ఇవ్వండి, రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ చేసుకోండి. దానికి ఒక కోడ్ ఆఫ్ డ్రెస్ ఉంది, డ్రెస్ కోడ్ ఉంది. పురుషులు వైట్ అండ్ వైట్, స్త్రీలు నియరెస్ట్ ది వైట్, క్రీమ్ అట్సెట్రా అలాంటి చీరలు కానీ, వైట్ అండ్ వైట్ సల్వార్ కమీజ్ కానీ వేసుకుంటే అది మీరు పాడుతున్నారు, ఆఫరింగ్ చేస్తున్నారనే ఒక సంకల్పంతో, ఒక పూజాభావంతో, ఒక సాధనా భావంతో మనం రామకృష్ణునికి అర్పిద్దాం. ఇట్స్ ఎ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ ఒకేజన్, ఇయర్లీ వన్స్. లెట్ us మేక్ ఇట్ memorable and divine for all of us. Jai Bhagavan Shri Ramakrishna Deva ki Jai Shri Sharada Mai ki Jai Swami Vivekananda Maharaj ki Jai